Hats were leaving, Judge saw Sanji on the Sunny, and the last thing he wanted Sanji to hear before he left was, "Sanji, I just want you to know something before you leave. You still ain't shit, and you never be shit."
Yo! It's Thatboiicolb coming at y'all again with another one. Today, we're gonna be reacting to CJ DaChamp's horrible anime dads. Anime is home to some of the worst fathers in media history. So bad that Child Protective Services should have been called on episode 3 of any given show. I already know a few names that better be on this list, and if they not, CJ, we gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem. If you rock with anime, if you rock with reactions, and just unfiltered opinions in general, please like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. We'll be dropping videos consistently, guys, every single week. So, without further ado, let's get into the video.
Leave that fatherless, and I'm on to the next, and I ain't looking back when I leave.
Dads. They're either great and support their kids, and they are mostly there to protect and guide their child down the right path, to make sure they can have the best life they can possibly have. Or they're an absolute deadbeat bum-ass nigga who hates their kids and should have never had the right to reproduce. And when it comes to anime, I don't know what it is, but 99% of these niggas can't raise a kid for shit. It's like they're allergic to being a good dad. So today I got a little different video for y'all. Today we're taking a deep dive and taking a look at some of the worst fathers in anime history, with an honorable mention. Because if I'm talking about bad dads in just animation, period, this motherfucker is gonna make the cut every single time. So we're gonna start from the top, and the lower we go, the worse they will get. It's like we're simulating hell for how much hell these fathers put their kids through. So without further ado, first up on the chopping block, good old Ging.
I can agree with this.
We're starting off with Ging because everybody else on this list is 10 times worse than him. But it doesn't change the fact that this man Ging is the king of the deadbeats. Like when it comes to deadbeat dads in anime, Ging is easily the first nigga.
Hey, I can honestly agree with this. Ging wasn't as bad as I know some of the niggas is gonna be on this list, but he was a deadbeat. He reminds me a lot of my father. Let's continue.
Body thinks about. And I mean, the evidence is there. I mean, we all know the running joke. This man dropped his son off at his cousin's house and named him Gone, because that nigga was gone 30 seconds later. This man is a stereotypical dad that went to go get milk and never came back. Bro really dropped off a whole baby and the child support bill on Mito because he knew he wasn't trying to pay that shit. And I ain't gonna lie, if Ging was my dad, I really hate this nigga, because if he passed this ziggity zag ass hairline down to me, boy, I'd be sick. This man deserves the absolute worst for making his son inherit this shit. But besides all this man didn't come to see his son or contact him for 12 whole years. The only stuff he left for Gon was a cassette tape, a rusty ring, and a memory card for a PlayStation.
And Gon was happy with it, bruh.
That he created that you could die in. I kid you not, the nigga deadass left a message on a cassette tape that said, "Hey, Spark, so, you wanna find me? Well, I don't wanna see you, little nigga. Matter of fact, don't even chase me, little nigga. I'm gonna be so real with you. But if you do become a hunter, then beat this game that I made called Greed Island. It's basically Sword Art Online. So that means, don't die in that bitch." Oh, Jesus! I think somebody just died. But, you'll be fine. Anyways, though, you beat
Pinning his son in this, by the way. 12-year-old son, by the way.
Good luck, sport. But I'm gonna be so real with y'all, the shit that really pissed me off about Ging in the moment that showed everyone that this nigga ain't shit was when Gon was in the hospital. Now, Gon was fighting for his life after his fight with Pito. He was on life support and he was about to die. And Ging did not bother to visit him once when he was literally across the street. Not even a 5-minute.
And he has no reason to be a deadbeat
either. The hospital to see his son that could have died. Like I'm telling y'all, when Leorio called this man out in front of everybody, it was pure satisfaction. Bro got on the mic and was like, I got a question for Mr. Ging. Hey yo, why haven't you gone to visit your son, you bum ass nigga? You deadbeat, musty, dressed in rags, bitch. You out here answering questions for people.
Get on his ass.
Meanwhile, your own flesh and blood is about to die. So answer the question, hoe ass nigga. Why have you not gone to see your son? And after Leorio called him out, Ging replied with, Man, he got enough friends. He'll be fine. Did he even say he wanted me to come in the first place? And the fact that
nigga, he's on life support.
Come while Gon can't even say that shit because he's in a coma pissed Leorio off to the point where he said, fuck it, and swooped on this nigga, lifting him out of his seat with a Shoryuken.
Very well
and when this
deserved.
happened, I kid you not, everyone in the room cheered because
Shit, I cheered when I saw that shit.
Nigga was a bum. Everyone was happy when Ging got laid out. And then the icing on the cake of Ging just being a deadbeat is when Gon woke up and was so happy to see his father. This man was crying and was so happy to see his dad. And look at this man's face. Is it the face of a man that wants to see his son? Hell nah! He thinking in his head, damn, do I have to actually be this nigga's wife now?
Nigga, what is he doing here?
Now? Oh my God. And when Gon left and said, can we talk again? This man Ging was like, I don't know. And everybody in the room booed, calling him a deadbeat and a bum ass nigga like they should. And this man Ging was ready to swing on everybody like, bro.
I can't understand why he's upset.
Ging is easily the king of the deadbeats. But like I said earlier, there are dads 10 times worse than Ging. And next up is a dad that abused his whole family.
Endeavor was
Endeavor.
horrible.
Endeavor is a great hero.
Endeavor was horrible, man. Before he even gets started, Endeavor was one of the worst fathers I've ever. I'm surprised Endeavor's number 2 on the list. I guess because he got the redemption arc and all that, but bruh, the way Endeavor was moving, it's like, bruh, your first son ends up almost killing himself trying to please you. You basically just pushed him away once your prodigy came. Like the other kids meant nothing to you. I doubt he even knew their names for like for their first 10 years. I doubt he even knew their fucking names. It was all about Todoroki. Oh God. It's like, bro, and then you mentally abuse your wife to the point where she's you know what? I'm explaining too much. Let's get back into it. I'm explaining too much.
God, he was a terrible father. Now, I will say this. Endeavor, without a doubt, is the most improved father on this list. He's
I agree.
actually trying to do
completely
better.
agree.
But the way he was moving before his whole redemption was awful. This nigga was a piece of shit that mentally abused and broke his entire family apart. And
Like,
this was all
Jesus.
because he was a hating ass nigga. You see, Endeavor was obsessed with trying to be better than All Might. So when he finally came to the realization that All Might was just better than him and it was just a skill issue, he decided, if I can't be better than him, then I'll make somebody better than him. So this man went out and bought a wife so he could make a hybrid baby with her that would have his flame quirk in her ice quirk. He wanted to make a little half-breed avatar, and the first child they had was Toya, aka Dabi. Now, Dabi inherited a strong version of Endeavor's quirk, but his body couldn't handle the heat because his body was physically built to resist the cold because of his mother, not heat. So Endeavor considered Toya a failure, so he continued to have more kids. He had Fuyumi and Natsuo. And guess what? They didn't live up to the hype that Endeavor wanted. So then he tried one last time, and he finally had a baby that had both quirks, and that was Shoto. And when Endeavor finally had Shoto, he was so obsessed with him, he just gave up on all of his other kids and told them not to be heroes.
That didn't exist,
this
bro.
straight up told Toya in the nicest way possible. Listen here, son. Not gonna lie, gang. You ain't got what it takes. You can't be a hero. You can't be better than All Might. Just give up.
Oh my
And this was the start of this family just breaking apart. Because after Endeavor told Toya this, he straight up tried to swing on baby Todoroki. So after Toya tried to swing on his baby brother, Endeavor straight up told his wife, keep Shoto away from the other kids and don't let Toya out of your sight. So this is when he just started to neglect his other kids. And the only kid he cared about was Shoto because he was hhis perfect creation. So he put Todoroki through some hellish training. Like he was beating this little nigga's ass. And when his mother came in to try to stop him, he just hip slapped her right in front of his kid.
Jesus
and this
Christ,
wasn't even
bro.
the last time he hit his wife. Because one day Toya came back to his dad and told him, oh my God, Pops, I've been training right. And not gonna lie, gang, I think I understand it now. You should come watch me, Dad, please. And when Endeavor heard Toya was training again, he went to his wife and slapped the shit out of her. right in front of his kids.
Bro, I forgot how bad it
was. And this was the start of Todoroki's mom's mental health just declining, because every time she looked at her kids, she saw Endeavor. And this led to Todoroki's mom throwing boiling water on Todoroki's face, giving him the Zuko scar because she straight up snapped and tweaked out because she couldn't even see her kids the same. Her mind was broken. So he straight up threw her in a mental insane asylum. And then since he completely neglected Toya, Toya went up in the woods thinking his dad was coming. And when he realized he wasn't, his emotions took over and his flames became out of control. And it ended up starting a goddamn California forest fire. Man's burnt down the whole forest and Endeavor thought his son was dead. Just for all for one, to find his son who was
Endeavor was acting like he gave a fuck.
And make him a whole super villain. Nigga turned him into a D1 tweaker. So yeah, this man Endeavor mentally and physically abused his entire family and pushed them to their breaking points. All because he was a hating ass nigga that wanted to surpass All Might. But you see, Endeavor is not the only father that we're covering today. That was a firebender and caused their son to get half their face burnt off. Because now it's time for our honorable mention. Now, y'all should have known damn well, if I'm making a video about bad fathers, this man Ozai will make the cut every single time. Ozai is just flat out one of the worst fathers in fiction. This man is an actual evil narcissistic psychopath. And the way he treated his kids, whoa boy. There was a reason Zuko was a depressed dickhead and Azula was a psychopath. It all goes back to their father. So first, let's start off with Zuko. And we have to dive all the way into the comics for this. Now, the whole family was having dinner, right? And Azula
I read the comics. I know how bad it is.
Teacher's pants on fire. So Ozai, of course, was glazing Azula because she was clearly his favorite child. And he was straight up enabling Azula's bad behavior. Talking like, your teacher sounds like a fool. I'll have him sent back to the colonies. So Zuko chimed in and said, he's not a dummy. He just thinks that proper firebending has to start. And Ozai cut Zuko off and he is pissed. And he says something that a father should never say to their child. He told Zuko, how dare you lecture your sister on firebending? You know, little nigga, let me let you in on a little secret. When you were born, we weren't sure if you were a bender at all. You didn't have that spark in your eyes. I planned to cast you from this place.
Like, who says this to their son?
For a prince of the Fire Nation to have a non-bender as a firstborn. Lucky for you, little nigga, your mother and the Fire Sages pleaded with me to give you a chance. Azula, on the other hand, never needed that kind of luck. She was born lucky. You were lucky to be born. This man snapped on his child at the dinner table, bro. He basically told Zuko that he ain't shit. And you were lucky that I felt like blowing your mama's back out to make you. But it just keeps on getting worse from here, bro. Because the next awful thing he did to Zuko was, of course, the Agni Kai. So this all started in a war meeting. So this one general came up with a plan that would have an entire division of new Fire Nation recruits be used as bait to distract the Earth Kingdom's forces so a better division could attack from the rear. Now, obviously, this plan is terrible because they're literally throwing new recruits out there to die. So Zuko spoke up and said that this plan was straight garbage.
Like the prince he is.
Sacrificing and betraying loyal soldiers of the Fire Nation.
Like the prince he is.
All the generals just stopped and looked at this nigga because Zuko spoke out of line when he wasn't supposed to. So Ozai saw this as disrespect to the general. And the only way to settle this was an Agni Kai. So Zuko thought that he was going to be dueling the general. But when Zuko turned around and saw his opponent, it wasn't the general. It was Ozai. Because Ozai thought that it was disrespectful to him because Zuko ran his mouth in his war chambers. So Zuko was pleading to his dad like, Dad, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it as disrespect. But Ozai was like, stand and fight, Prince Zuko. Don't be a bitch. Stand up and fight for your honor. So Zuko refused to fight Ozai. And Ozai proceeded to burn half of his face off in front of a live crowd. And then after he gave Zuko his scar, he banished him and forced him to have this ugly as a bald ponytail that nobody should ever be forced to have, and told him don't come back till you find the Avatar, who has been missing for over 112 years. Ozai was basically telling him, don't ever come back, little nigga. And the only way you're coming back is if by the grace of God you get lucky to find a little bald nigga that has been frozen for over a century. Now let's move on to Azula. Ozai made Azula do all of his dirty work. This man just sat on his throne the entire series and sent his 14-year-old daughter to take over the entire Earth Kingdom while he just sat there and didn't do shit.
And she
then
did
he
that
took
shit.
Azula's plan for Sosin's comment that she made and straight up left her out of it. Nigga said, you can stay here and be Fire Lord while I go burn the world. And when he left his daughter to be Fire Lord, she went off the deep end and spiraled into madness while this nigga was having the time of his life burning the entire world. Ozai,
Bruh.
is one of the
Oh
worst
God, Ozai's horrible.
The fourth Kazekage is easily the worst dad in the Naruto series, and is just flat out one of the worst dads in anime history.
I don't
This
remember too much
motherfucker
about
ain't
him.
shit. He had Gaara living one of the worst childhoods of all time. Nigga had his
I watched
son depressed
Naruto,
24/7
but it's
and
been a
made him
minute.
start his emo phase at the age of 6. Like, there was no wonder Gaara was a uncontrollable D1 crash out in the first part of Naruto. It's because his dad ain't shit, and he tried to make him a weapon of mass destruction as a baby. You see, Rasa did some shit. You see, the Hidden Sand was struggling financially. These niggas were broke, and they were in desperate need for a weapon of mass destruction. So Rasa ended up conceiving Gaara for the sole purpose of sealing the one-tailed beast inside of his unborn child.
Makes
so he could
sense.
make him a Jinchuriki and weaponize
Makes
him.
sense.
Now, since Rasa tried to seal a tailed beast inside of his unborn child, this ended up leading up to Gaara's mother dying in childbirth. So off the rip, not even a day into the world, Gaara was made a weapon of mass destruction and lost his mother fresh out the womb because of his father. The little nigga was set up for a life of hell, and Rasa knew this shit. I mean, Gaara couldn't even sleep because Shikaku was always whispering to him, "Yeah, little nigga, fall asleep, I dare you. The moment you go night-night, I'm taking over your body and I'm blowing this bitch up. Do it, little nigga, I dare you." And
Damn.
of course, since he was a Jinchuriki, just like Naruto, everybody in the village was scared of him and stayed away from him. And Rasa let
I
it
never
happen.
understood
He didn't
this.
do
I
shit
would
about
think
it.
you would
He
want
just
to be his
let
friend.
them
Get on his
ostracize
good
his
side.
son. And bro, he did not let Gaara have fun at all. This man was the no fun police. He would play outside with Tamari and Kankuro, right? And they were just doing normal things. They were just building sand castles and shit and just having a blast. But then here came Mr. My Son Can't Have No Happiness. His bum ass didn't even say a word too. All he did was look at Tamari and Kankuro and shake his head. No, stop playing with that nigga, even though he's your little brother. Get away from that freak. So Rasa didn't even allow Gaara to play with his siblings. He just straight up neglected them and wanted them to be alone 24/7. But you see, the absolute worst thing Rasa ever did to Gaara was making the only person that cared about him try to kill him. You see, Gaara had a great relationship with Yashimaru. He was his caretaker and also his uncle, and he deeply cared about Gaara. He was the only person that showed him any type of love in his life. So guess what this nigga Rasa did? He told Yashimaru, "Yo, twin, I want to test my 6-year-old son to see if he'll crash out or not. So do me a favor and go try to assassinate that little nigga. And also tell that little nigga that his mother never loved him. I want to see if he
Bro,
and if he does, he's a failure of a Jinchuriki." So this nigga sent Gaara's uncle to try to assassinate him. So when Yashimaru pulled up on Gaara, he had on a mask covering up his identity. So Gaara didn't know who it was. So Gaara immediately grabbed him and crushed him.
Jesus Christ.
So after Gaara swatted him like a fly, he went over to his body and saw that it was Yashimaru. And Gaara was sick to
Oh
his
my
stomach.
God.
Because he basically just murdered the only person that cared about him. And the only person that cared about him just tried to assassinate him. And with Yashimaru's last breath of life, he has to lie and tell Gaara because Rasa's watching this shit. "Gaara, I was ordered to kill you by your father. And deep in my heart, I always hated you, Gaara. And you know who also hated you? Yo mama, nigga." So Shikaku took over and Gaara ended up going berserk. And Rasa watching this the whole time is like, looks like the child.
Well, I gotta ask, why lie then? If you know you finna die, even if he's watching, why lie? Like, am I tripping? If I'm finna die and I care about it, I'm gonna tell him what's really up. I'm finna die anyway. That's just how I feel.
Is a failure. My son is fucking useless to me now. going berserk. And Rasa watching this the whole time is like, looks like the child is a failure. My son is fucking useless to me now. Like, you dumbass nigga. Bro really expected a 6-year-old to somehow control his emotions and not go berserk after his uncle came and tried to assassinate him, then told him in his dying breath that he always hated him and his mama hated him too. Like, nigga, how did you expect anything different? The 4th Kazekage was a brain-dead idiot. And I ain't gonna lie, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but shouts out Orochimaru for sliming this nigga out. It is the most noble deed he did in the entire series. Because Rasa had to go. This motherfucker wasn't shit. Now, when it comes to who's the biggest sack of shit in One Piece, obviously you know you got your celestial dragons and everything. But right under them is this motherfucker Judge. This man had Sanji living in hell. All because
he was one of the worst fathers I've ever seen.
You see, Judge wanted all of his kids to be perfect weapons for Germa 66. And he went to the lengths of genetic...
Like If you watch One Piece, you know how tragic Sanji's backstory is. His first one with the chef. You know how bad that story is. And they just top it. In my opinion, Sanji has the worst backstory out of all the Straw Hats, bro. Out of all the Straw Hats. That whole Cake Island, the whole Cake Island arc was devastating. It was devastating, gang. Like, bro, I still haven't fully recovered.
Be altering his kids to the point where they would lack any type of sympathy. He wanted them to be emotionless weapons because Judge was a warmonger who terrorized the North Blue and wanted to conquer all of it to restore the Germa Empire to its rightful glory. Now, Sanji was the oddball of the family because he actually had emotions and was just a regular human because of his mother. Because when she was pregnant, she took a drug to try to stop the genetic mutation that Judge was trying to do to their kids. Now, this made her bedridden and she ended up dying because of this. And it only worked for Sanji. His other 3 brothers was some emotionless dickheads because of the genetic mutation. So Judge put all of his kids through intense training. And during this training, Sanji always fell behind. So when Sanji was basically failing every single training exercise, Judge became disgusted with Sanji. He was so disgusted with this little nigga that he would let his other brothers beat the shit out of him. And he wouldn't do anything about it. Sanji would cry for his dad's help. But Judge would just look at him and tell him, man, little nigga, if you don't get your ass up, quit being a crybaby and bitch. I can't believe you got my blood in you, you fucking disgrace. Damn! And his brothers continued to beat the shit out of him. They would do this every day and Judge would just let it happen because he didn't care about Sanji. The only kids he cared about were his sister and his brothers. And my God, when Judge figured out that Sanji's hobby was cooking, ooh, this nigga did not like this shit at all. He was making food for a mouse, right? The mouse was tearing that food up. But then Judge barged in the room and just started yelling at him like, Sanji, are you cooking for them f***ass rats again, boy? I told you to cut that weak ass shit out. So he walked over to the plate of food and threw that shit out the window, along with Mickey Mouse. He killed that nigga. Jesus. Then he told him, don't ever cook again. And if I catch your little ass in that kitchen one more time, I'ma whoop your ass. So it got to the point that Sanji just continued to fail at everything. And Judge just decided to consider Sanji a failure. So this man did one of the worst things I've ever seen. Judge decided to fake Sanji's death. And he threw him in a dungeon and locked a metal helmet on his head and just locked him up
just
forever
horrible,
so he
bro.
never had to see him again. And he stayed in this cell for 6 months. And while he was in this prison cell, his brothers would go in there and just beat the crap out of him for no reason at all. They would just do this for fun.
Man, my boy Sanji, bro.
His sister couldn't take it anymore.
Jesus
so she just
Christ.
broke him out so Sanji could run away.
Sanji one of my favorites, bro. This shit hurt me.
Judge found him trying to leave. So Sanji stood up to Judge and told him, I'm leaving, old nigga, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And Judge just looked at him and said, okay, don't hit your head out the door, little nigga. What you do, I'm gonna be real with you. But before we part ways, let me tell you this. Never tell anybody that you are my son, because you are the only stain on my legacy. So Judge
bro,
let Sanji
this shit was so tragic,
he couldn't give a damn about him. And Judge didn't see Sanji again for 13 whole years. And the next time he saw him, he tried to use Sanji to marry him off to one of Big Mom's daughters.
That nigga said, just don't tell nobody you my son, but you can go, you can build.
Was use him for a diplomatic marriage. And to make sure he couldn't leave, he put these handcuffs on him. And if he ever tried to take them off, he would blow his hands off so Sanji could never cook again. So after the whole cake arc and the Straw Hats rescue Sanji, while the Straw Hats were leaving, Judge saw Sanji on the Sunny, and the last thing he wanted Sanji to hear before he left was, "Sanji, I just want you to know something before you leave. You still ain't shit, and you never shit." Not gonna lie, gang, if your pops was talking to you like this after years, we've reached the final father we will be covering.
I feel like I know who he's gonna say. Yeah, so I've never watched this anime personally. I've never watched this anime, but I've heard about this nigga. I've heard about this nigga. I've heard about him. Well, man, we finna see. I ain't never watched this anime though.
One worst father in anime history. In my personal opinion, he's the worst. Now, if you've never seen Full Metal Alchemist and you don't know who this nigga is, I'm warning you right now. This shit is about to
I need to watch Full Metal Alchemist. I know.
Sho Tucker was a state alchemist that was known for his work about chimeras. And Sho famously got his state alchemist license for making a chimera that could speak the human language. And he did this 2 years ago. So when we first meet Sho, he just looks like an average run-of-the-mill middle-aged dad who's had a couple of midlife crises, as we can see clearly from his hairline, because that shit's receding like a motherfucker. But Sho had a daughter named Nina and a dog named Alexander, and they looked like a pretty happy family. Now, the house was nasty as hell. The dishes look like they ain't been washed in a week, and the shelves look like they haven't been dusted in ages. And Sho says the reason why the house is like this is because his wife left him and his daughter, and she left them 2 years ago. So after Ed and Al met Sho the first day, when they were leaving, Sho was informed that assessment day was coming up. And assessment day is an evaluation to see if you can keep your state alchemist license or not. And last assessment day, Sho bladed Ed. That nigga failed. So this next one coming up was make or break for Sho. Because if he did ass on this next test, he would lose his state alchemist license. So the next day Ed and Al came over, they came and played with Nina and Alexander. Cause Nina was sad because her dad was locked up in the lab the whole day. Cause he was contemplating what could he possibly do to pass the next evaluation day and not get fired. So Sho came up with one of the most sick, vile, disgusting, disturbing ideas ever. When Ed and Al left on the second day, this nigga told Nina, "Hey Nina, I've got a great idea. Do you want to play with Daddy tomorrow?" And of course Nina was happy because she was finally gonna get time to spend time with her dad. But this was not gonna be fun father-daughter time like Nina thought she was about to have. Because the time she was about to spend with her father was about to change her life forever. So Ed and Al come back on the third day. So when they first came in the house, nobody was there to greet them. So they decided to look around to see if they could find anybody. So they went down to the laboratory and they found Sho in there with some type of creature. So Sho greets them and tells them, "Boys, I've finally done it. I've made a chimera that can speak and understand the human language." So at first, Ed and Al were happy for him because this looked like the scientific breakthrough that Sho needed to pass evaluation day. So Sho told the chimera to introduce yourself to Ed. So the chimera started speaking to Ed, saying, "That person, Edward. That person, Edward." And then the last thing the chimera says made niggas sick to their stomach. It said, "Big brother Ed." And look at Sho. Look at how he is standing. Bro doesn't even look human right here. I'm gonna be so real. So then to make sure Ed wasn't tripping, he asked Sho, "When did you get your state alchemist license?" And Sho says, 2 years ago. Then Ed asked him another question. "When did your wife leave?" And Sho states, let's see. That was about 2 years ago as well. So then Ed asked him one final question. He asked, where the fuck are Nina and Alexander? And he tells him, oh, can't you tell? They're in this room with us right now.
Oh my goodness!
From there, this nigga made Nina and Alexander do the fusion dance and turned them into motherfucking dog nigga. And guess what? The wife? Yeah, she ain't leave, nigga. Sho turned her into a chimera 2 years ago. That's how we got it.
Oh my God.
Slam Sho on the wall. And Sho didn't even feel bad about it. This crazy bastard was all smiles.
Bro,
was
look
just
at
saying,
him.
oh, this is just human evolution. This is progress. So Ed starts beating this nigga's ass. He punched bro for about 30 seconds straight, and he was going to kill him. And I ain't gonna lie, he should have killed him.
I'm about to watch Full Metal Alchemist for real.
Because Nina Xander was still watching him the whole time. And she was telling him, big brother Ed, why are you beating up Daddy?
Oh my God.
Ed stopped because it was just too much, bro. And this pathetic bastard Sho was so delusional after getting his ass whooped. Bro was saying, I did it. I made it in time to keep my alchemist license.
Bro.
Dude didn't even care about his daughter or the sick ass shit that he just did.
No,
All he cared about
bro.
was keeping his status as a state alchemist. So obviously they arrest this sick ass
Oh
nigga
God,
and
lock
put
his ass up.
on house arrest. And while he was locked up
House
in his
arrest?
Scar broke in. So
He need to be under the jail.
Did what needed to be done. He gripped this ugly ass nigga by the face and electrocuted him, sending his ass to the bottomless pits of hell. And then after he boomed Sho, Scar just decided the best thing for Nina was to just put out of misery. So he kills the fusion of Nina Xander. So yeah.
Oh my
this man
fucking
Sho is a
gosh.
sick nigga. He turned his wife into
Bro.
a chimera, then made his daughter.
I don't know if I can watch it. I ain't gonna lie. This shit is
This
disturbing.
man is universally agreed
This is
upon
disturbing.
as the worst father in anime history. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a showcase of some of the worst dads in anime history. And if you're wondering,
I give it to you.
What about all these
I
other
give it to you.
horrible deadbeat sick
This is a
ass
good
niggas?
list. This is
Don't
a really
worry.
good list.
I got you. I got a whole nother 6-man lineup ready to fire off. So if y'all down, we'll run this back after like the next trial or something.
drove
But with that being
sure.
said, hope y'all enjoyed. And for all my dads and future dads out there, keep doing what you doing and don't be like these niggas.
I gotta say, I do agree with that list. That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good list. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I thought he was gonna pick Goku on this list. I was ready to combat him. I was ready to give my opinion. I was ready to combat him, but I'm really glad he didn't pick Goku on this list because Goku's not a bad anime dad. Okay, he's not a bad dad. If you go back and watch the series, he's not a bad dad. Team 4 Star make him seem like a bad dad, but Goku in the actual anime isn't a bad dad. But I thought he was gonna put him on that list. I thought he was gonna put him on the list to be funny. But hey guys, what did you think? Did you agree with the list? Please leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, guys. Peace.